What's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto, and welcome to the War Room. We are War Room Philly. How is everyone doing out there? Are you still with us? Are you there? Have we made it? Step back from that bridge, it's okay. Well, as far as sports goes, it's not okay, but here we are. 0-2-1, which feels worse to say than 0-3. You lost to the Bengals. I mean, ugh. On top of which, Matt Klentak still has his job. Andy McPhail still has his job. I mean, Howie Roseman still has his job. Not that I expect him to go anywhere at the end of this year, or especially during this season. But, I mean, where do I start? Jimmy Butler is getting ready to tip off in the finals, as well as his teammate Andre Iguodala. I just watched Jake Diekman close out a save in the playoffs. Braden Coburn and Shen lift the trophy. Justin Jefferson lights it up. Andy Reid wins the Super Bowl and still knows how to play call. I know how to talk. Podcaster, by the way. Andy Reid wins a Super Bowl and the year afterwards still knows how to call plays. Holy shit, 3 times. But I mean, you see the success of Reid. It's still working. The creativity is still there in his offense. It's top to bottom, and we got all of the teams tonight. So, we'll get into it. And if you have anything to say, chat, feel free. As always, you're my co-host. We are live and direct. And, Joe Hunter, thank you for the subscription. By the way, September. So if you're not if you haven't subbed, or if you maybe want to use your Amazon Prime sub on something else, or if you don't have Amazon Prime, it's only $2.50, and it's the last day of September. And unfortunately, I dealt with an absorbent amount of PC issues, which are officially all cleaned up as of yesterday. I finally fixed the OBS and everything, and if we needed, we would have had Keith up tonight. So yeah, we got the videos, everything's working. After the hard drives are back up and running. Shout out to Jay Ziggy for helping me with that as well. Buying the program some new hard drives. So yeah, and by the way, Over and Out Gaming, I see we got a new follow right before the show. So while I'm on the Twitch advertisements, I'm just get that in there too. But yeah. Anyone and everyone, feel free to subscribe. Help support the stream. But we got a lot to get into tonight, chat. Now I don't know where to begin. I really don't. Here, how about this? Let's start with quite possibly the only good thing that could happen in Philadelphia, because it's all bad things happening in Philadelphia right now, as the president so elegantly put. But the good is, and I've been sort of my since the NBA has returned to play in the bubble, I've had my finger pretty close on the pulse. Before the Sixers ever played Game 1, I knew that they were burnt toast, and I knew that Brett Brown hadn't corrected any of the things that was wrong with this team, despite all of the lip service that he said that was going to happen. He didn't fix anything that was wrong with his coaching, as seen immediately in the scrimmage games. Raul Neto playing. So why did I bring that up? Doc Rivers gets fired in Los Angeles, which I said as that happened, and I said when the Clippers lost, I said, man, they're gonna make an LA type move, and especially the Clippers, because the Clippers are the inferior. Like the Clippers are to LA what Philadelphia is to New York. You know, they have that chip on their shoulder, and they feel like, oh, we gotta prove something, so we're gonna fire Doc Rivers. Well, in my opinion, is a pretty damn good coach. Won a championship in 2008. Was the NBA Coach of the Year in 2000, which I think was his second year coaching. Became a coach only about 3 years after his playing career ended. 1999. A man with his finger on the pulse of the NBA inside and out. A man that would fit with Philadelphia's culture. A man that would not come in here and disrupt any of the movements going on. Oh, and by the way, a man that's, like I said at the start of all this, in my opinion, a damn good coach. It would be sort of like the Chiefs bringing in Andy Reid. The Chiefs at that point needed stability. The Sixers right now need stability. I gotta tell you, I liked Ty Lue. I was not a fan of Mike D'Antoni. I like Doc Rivers more than Ty Lue. I feel like a lot of people just dismissed Tyronn Lue off the... I liked him maybe even more than the Jason Kidds. But as far as the Sixers go, yeah, I would be pretty thrilled with getting a guy like Doc Rivers, who is quite possibly still talking with Sixers ownership right now. Just gets me excited. And that's what this team needs, some excitement. Now the bad, obviously, I don't want to just talk about all the good. The bad of Doc Rivers, well, hey, he is the first coach to blow 3-3-1 leads in the playoffs. Obviously, that Clippers team was loaded with talent this year, and they underachieved. Now, is he going to come in here and you know, all of a sudden overachieve with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid? It's not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. But at the end of the day, especially out of the three names that we sort of know, the Mike D'Antoni, Ty Lue, and Doc Rivers, if you're asking if it's just between those three, oh yeah, it's leaps and bounds Doc Rivers. He's the only one that gets me a little excited. Ty Lue, I like and I think is going to be a good coach, and I actually think he'll probably coach the Clippers next year. I liked Ty Lue, like I said. I feel like he got a bad rap in Philadelphia, and I don't really know why. I guess my educated guess would be that you look at his championship and just write it off as that was LeBron's championship. But hey, didn't we kind of do that with Eric Spoelstra? Oh, well, he won with Wade, Bosh, and LeBron, and you know that was where all his championships come from. Where instead we could have given him credit, like, man, that guy was able to manage three of those egos and still win. And now you see Jimmy Butler in the Heat. That game starts at 9 tonight, and I'm excited. I'm excited for all the sports. You got, how about today, you just got hour on the hour, baseball game after baseball game. 12 o'clock start, 1 o'clock start, 2 o'clock start. And I mean, it's still going to have, you got another 8 and another 10 o'clock going on tonight. Awesome day of playoff baseball. Awesome. Some good games, too. You had a record-setting game. The longest scoreless inning game. Yeah, 13 innings. Did it end in 13 or 14? 13 scoreless innings, the most combined strikeouts in a playoff game. That was a duel. I was listening to most of that game at work. Thought 13. Yeah, I believe you. Like I said, I was, I think I had left work before that game ended. So yeah, just to top off before I dive into baseball talk, just to put a bow on the Sixers talk. I go Doc Rivers, and then again the stars. I keep Joel Embiid. I keep Ben Simmons, and again Doc Rivers is a coach. Like I said, stability. Doc Rivers is a coach that after a year, if he says, you know, Simmons got to go, Embiid's got to go, one of them's got to go, I listen. But I got to have at least 1-2 more years of Simmons and Embiid before I get rid of both of them. Or one of them, I should say. Or both. I have to. I have to see what those two potential superstars can do with, let's face it, a real NBA coach. I'm sorry, Brett. It wasn't all your fault. Or maybe it was. At this point, I kind of hope it was all your fault. I'm not going to lie. Because that means that Elton Brand might have a chance to salvage this offseason. Because here's what I'm going to play spin team. But make no mistake, my opinion is fire Elton Brand. But I'm going to be Elton Brand's PR staff. And I'm going to show you guys the inner workings of my brain on how easy it is for me to argue with myself. If I'm defending Elton Brand right now, I'm going, look, when Elton was here and he was given charge, you saw what he could do. He brought in Tobias Harris for Landry Shamet and a pick. He brought in Jimmy Butler for Robert Covington and Dario Saric. And he put together a roster that was, for all intents and purposes, a quadruple dink, or whatever we call it nowadays, from going to overtime in Game 7 to the team that won the finals. We were that close to advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals. Then, this offseason, if you say, oh, well, he wants to say, if we can say, oh, that was a collaborative thing, it was a collaborative thing, and if that's true, and Horford and Richardson and all these guys are truly a Brett Brown thing, and Elton Brand, who was partially hired by Brett Brown, went with it, well, then I'm going to have to see a lot out of you this offseason to gain my trust and to prove that it really was. Start by trading for CP3. Or someone like that. By the way, Matisse Thybulle, I saw a thing for Chris Paul. You trade Al Horford, Mike Scott, a first-round pick. Fine with all of that so far. But then Matisse Thybulle. And in return, we just get Chris Paul back. I'm sorry, that's not good enough for me. I can't get rid of Matisse, who is, in my opinion, going to be a sixth man. Or a starter. Right off, for the next several years. This isn't Landry Shamet, who's going to be a role player, 7th, 8th guy. I mean, if I were the coach of that team in the playoffs last year, Matisse Thybulle would have been starting for me. Especially after Ben Simmons got hurt. But yeah, I don't want to spend too long on the Sixers. I just kind of went down a weird path. But that's truly where this team's got to start moving in that direction. It's just that simple. Now on to baseball. And on to yet another general manager who is under fire. Quite possibly a theme tonight. Yeah, there were some good baseball games today, and it was nice to watch. Because I got to be honest, chat. Doing this, I love sports. But doing this kind of really gets me hyper-focused on Philly sports. And I lose... Not like I lose touch, because I still have my finger very much on the pulse of what's going on in the sports world, but I don't get to watch as much sports. Especially just, I don't know about you guys, but TV sucks nowadays. And I got Netflix, I got a Chromecast, I got Hulu, HBO Max, I got them all. And I'd much rather watch them with no commercials than anything on the TV. Sports is supposed to be an escape, but nowadays with the commercials and everything going on, it's really not an escape. Those other things, those streaming channels, they're kind of the escape. So I'm very hyper-focused in on Philly sports. And I gotta be honest, in the last 2 days, chat, it has been awesome. Awesome. Watching good baseball. Awesome. I mean, you see these relievers coming in and getting outs? Huh? What a thing! What a thing! Yankees-Dodgers World Series. I have, and I'm kind of mad because everyone's picking the Dodgers, and now I want to re-pick my pick. But I already put it out there. In writing on the socials that that was weird. There's ghosts. My door just opened for no reason. Where's Greg? Greg will be on October 13th. I think we have the date set for Joe. Yeah, he'll be on. We will certainly have it. We've already booked it. But you know, as he's a guest on this show, he's got obligations and such. Matter of fact, you wanna make sure you pop up looking for his hearing aids. Probably on the porch after he fell. Not chat. Real quick sidebar. Nothing better than coming home after working all day in a humid warehouse to seeing your grandfather sprawled out across the front porch. It's very fun. And by the way, chat, good luck with the push-ups. You got me doing the push-ups and keeping me in shape too. I could still heave him right up. So shout out to chats for keeping me in check on the push-ups, as I still make sure I get my 10 in. Most days, just to make sure that I don't want to embarrass myself if chat's ever like, hey, drop and give me 15 for the first Eagles win of the season. I'm like, all right, I got you. But yeah, he will be there, Joe. He'll be, like I said, Greg will be here. It's nice to see you too, by the way, Joe. What's up? We got both Joes in chat. Nola and Wheeler were non-existent over there. I mean, hey, Nola goes non-existent as soon as the calendar turns over to September. He's not an ace. It is what it is. I said it many times. Last year, I got killed all year for saying he's not an ace. Rightfully so, but then September came. He wasn't an ace all year this year. I didn't really bang the drum on the Aaron Nola's not an ace thing because it was by far the least of our problems, but he's not an ace. But you do have, two pretty good top tier. You have like two kind of 1As in Wheeler and Nola. But yeah. But Joe, I gotta be honest, all year you were a little too excited after some key losses just to be right about your bet. And that's a little bit of a knock on your fan card. I gotta be honest, as I gotta find something to drink, chat. I have half of a Coke left, and that's gonna be what gets me through the rest of this show, because I forgot to grab a water before I went on. I will savor those sips. He's not even a number 2. Nola? Nah, both Nola and Wheeler are number 2s, at least. At least. Can't get super down because you're mad at them. I know you love doing that, but it is what it is. Even if they choke in September, they're still number 2s. It doesn't make them a number 3. It just makes them unreliable. But, yes, we are on to the Phillies. We are on to the Phillies now, as we just transition from the Sixers on to the Phillies. And I see you guys out there in chat. Hi from Delaware. Where up, user eat? User eat. I like that name. But yeah, if you're out there in chat land, feel free to chime in about anything and everything. Obviously, we're Philly sports centric, but it's a free form show, especially when it's just me here. Chat, you're my co-host. You're who I depend on for the nonsense. Without Keith, I need chat to feed me some nonsense and some things too. So here we are. But yeah, yes, you're Yeet. Hi from Delaware. I'd like to know what brings you here. Not that it matters, but I'm glad you are here. Thanks for the follow. Awesome. This is great. Yeah, he shut the Cubs down. Yeah. Look at the you know what's funny, Joe? You might be the one person in chat, Joe, that might remember this. I was going to look forward to Keith to help back me up. But remember at the beginning of the year, Joe, when we were talking about the National League East, and we were talking about how good the Nats could be, or the Braves, or don't sleep on the Mets, and and the Phillies, and I'm like, hey. While we're doing all of this is low-key what this would be a Marlins year. It's just like, didn't it feel like, man, this could really be a year that the Marlins just sneak in. 60 games, and they're a young team, and by golly, here then. Did they win today? I had a lot going on once I got home. But yeah, love sports. That's awesome. Oh, you're in the right spot. Yeah, yes, you're eat. And also, I love saying your name. So please chime into chat every week so I can keep going. Yes, you're eat. Yeah, they did 5-1. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be the Marlins thing to do to go on like a run this year? That's just what they do, and then they fade completely away. They'll sell off anyone that helps win them they'll sell off anyone that helps win them a championship, and then they'll go right back away. But yeah, the Marlins, they beat us, and they one had the first scare of what do you have, about 3 coronavirus scares throughout baseball this year? The Marlins and was it the Cubs and the Cardinals, or was it Milwaukee and the Cardinals? They had some hospitalized cases. So a couple scares, and hey, I mean, unfortunately, here we are right now. We had the first stoppage in the NFL between, what was it, the Titans and the Steelers. So, no, don't blame Coach. No, I was not. I was just merely I was just merely reading chat, Joe, not blaming them at all. Because the Phillies, to see anyone that's like, oh well, they were getting things going. No, they went 1-2. Then there was a stop. They were off to a slow start. They continued that slow start. If anything, a stoppage might have helped them at that point. Nah, the Rono's not an excuse for the Phillies. I mean, there was a lot wrong with the Phillies. The first one was the construction of the bullpen. Matt Klentak's got to go. Andy McPhail's got to go. This bullpen was atrocious. This pitching staff wasn't good. You have no prospects. The fact that it was September and you had no young pitchers, you had to still rely on Vince Velasquez, who freaking sucks at baseball. You have no one. You had Spencer Howard and nothing. How are you not able to produce 2, 3 minor league starters that are potentially able to give you one spot start? Matt Klentak has the fact that it is Wednesday and Matt Klentak still has his job is infuriating. And it shows that Matt Klentak isn't the only problem. It's John Middleton and the rest of this ownership. Because they drug their feet on kicking Gabe out. And maybe now they're dragging their feet because they were realizing the only ones they needed to get rid of was Klentak and McPhail. These guys have to go. And the fact that they're not out is a clear indictment on ownership. And then clear indictment on you went out and made a stupid ass claim saying you were going to spend stupid money, and then you turtled up and you don't want to pay $2 million extra dollars on a luxury tax. Oh, is that too much for you, Mr. Billionaire? Oh. Can you not draft any friggin' talent at all, so now you have to spend money in one of the biggest markets and you'll make that money back in tenfold? Oh, I'm so freaking sorry for you. So that's the top. And that's the rant that they get today. But that's not it. Because Joe Girardi managed this team like Gabe Kapler. The only thing was different was he didn't, the media didn't jump on him after every game. And yes, I get it. I just went on the huge rant about the lack of talent, right? But the fact that you continue to trap workmen out there day in and day out, Mr. Hanging Curveball is going to be your closer? Guess what, Joe? You get some heat too. And none of my Joes in chat. Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi was a huge disappointment. Joe, Flyers Cup Joe? Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. No one wanted to point it out, though. Love Joe, coached a 60-game season like a jackass. Yeah, that's a pretty damn good way to put it. Yezer Yeet, how about the Eagles game go? We'll get there. This is going to be a slow crescendo. And by the end of the show, and after the show's over, I'm going to go downstairs and have to take one of my grandfather's blood pressure pills. Joe Girardi coached games in August like they were games in May. And yes, it was the beginning of the season, but there was no urgency from day one. Eagles game is second set. We do. Kev, we need a set break. I gotta go, roast a bone. Gotta take a couple shots. Maybe drop one. No. And then come back. Yeah, we'll get into the Eagles. We will get there. I promise you. Hang in there, baby birds. Hang in there. It's only the show will only be about an hour. So Yezer Yeet, a newer face in chat. But you guys, especially without Keith, you're the co-host. Yeah, it was. Look, these pitchers were stretched out, despite not getting work. The pitchers were the one really players that were able to continue their work throughout quarantine. He was taking them out way too early in the really for all of their first three starts, and by that point we were already out of it. And the fact that you needed what amounted to be one game, you needed to win one game going into that Devil Rays series, or the Tampa Bay Rays, and not the Devil Rays anymore. They haven't been for like 11 years. You go into that scene needing one win. First off, Mr. Paint by Numbers. If you remember when a good manager is supposed to win you games, right? Well, why is it that Wheeler and Nola aren't moved up? You didn't know you only needed one win going into that Rays series. You might have needed 3 wins. Why in the F is Vince Velasquez pitching game 1 of that series? You mean you can't tell me that Aaron Nola or Zach Wheeler can't go? That's where, now you want to talk number 1, number 2 stuff? That's where a number 1, number 2, any gamer should go, yeah, I'm ready. I'll pitch. But no, we trapped Vince Velasquez, which, all things considered, he gave you your best outing that weekend. But again, where is the manager's head? And I hope that it's... Look, last year around this time of the year, we had a very large contingency on Facebook.com/WarRoomPhilly. Join in there and here in chat saying, look, Gabe isn't the problem. You need to fire Klentak. People were defending Gabe Kapler around this time of the year last year. Not a lot, but there were people doing it, and I was mind blown by it. As I was defending Gabe Kapler through most of the year. But I mean, Rhys Hoskins was consistently your 2-hole hitter this year. A guy that's your first baseman and supposed to bring you power numbers. And instead, all we want to do is get walks out of him because he's really fast, right? And he can steal. I'm not going to lie, chat. I would love it. I would love it. And this is, I'm not trying to be a hot take guy. I would love it if the Phillies traded Rhys Hoskins this offseason. Bring Bowman as your one. Yes, at War Room Philly on Twitter, Instagram. If you type in War Room Philly on YouTube, you should see some VODs. The whole 9, and I appreciate you asking that. But, I mean, this... I don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely just... I've had it with Rhys Hoskins. And if you can get damn near anything for him, I would do it. Because he's going to be another one that commands a lot of money. Scott Boras is his agent. And for what? For what? Let me check his contract real quick. Power of the internet. I have like 17 tablets open right now. So you got him for 1 more year, and he's very, very cheap next year. Oh no, I'm sorry. They still have 3 more arbitration years. So you still get Rhys somewhat on the cheap, but you know he wants his deal and he wants it pretty soon. Yeah, as soon as if I'm firing Matt Klentak, I'm signing JT Realmuto, and then you gotta look. You need to replenish this team. You're not gonna go out there and just sign a bullpen. and sign the rest. You need to bring in some prospects. How do you do that? In my opinion, you potentially trade a guy like Rhys Hoskins. You potentially trade a guy like Gene Segura. You need a center fielder on this team. Only pick Clentak had. What was the only pick Clentak had? Did I miss something? Chat's been going fire, so yeah, reiterate that one for me if you can, Joe Hunter. But yeah, Bohm, yeah. Alec Bohm was good. Scott Kingery, dud. Is it safe to say Scott Kingery is a dud? An average player, an extra outfielder? I don't know. But you gave him... He didn't really have excuses this year. Like, I know he had to move around, but, like, if the little bit of moving around got into Scott Kingery's head, then I don't need that in my athletes. Like, for the people that like, you know, they use that for Wentz, always got this and that. It's like, you know, you're right. But a good athlete can overcome that. And the best athletes and the champions can overcome that. And I'm getting in on that too. Carson, your moment's coming. You know me and you are boys, Carson, but your moment's coming. Get ready for it. I'm coming for you, Eagles. Bohm and Harper are the only two I'd keep. Now, JT, come on. Yeah, I got JT. Do you bring Didi Gregorius back? That'll be interesting. I'd like... Personally, I would trade Rhys if you could get a bleep JT. What? What do you mean? How do you even say that? What are you, crazy? See, this is when Joe, when you get mad, you get stupid, and I know I can say that to you because we're brothers at this point. But when you get mad, you say stupid things. Like after the Flyers lost the one game against Montreal, and you said it's the same old Flyers, and they were done. And then they won the rest of the games in that series. But as far as people you keep, yeah, it might be easier to say than who you. I love hard. See, at least you're self-aware, Joe, and you're very entertaining because of it. I gotta be honest. That's the one. Look, Joe, you've been a fan of this site since 2011, since our birth, and I gotta say that's the one characteristic that I feel like you've really developed over the years. Is you've become a little self-aware. And you can reel it in a little quicker nowadays, or we can at least have fun back and forth where we can both dish it to each other, and it's good. I love it. But yeah, again, the fact that you've been a member of chat for as long as you have is it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. And the fact that I have members of chat not that aren't here as often as you, but they have been in and out as long as you. But, like, I know them. Me and you, we've never met. We're just solely, our relationship is through this platform. And it's so fun. I gotta be honest. But, yeah. Like, Segura at third. So, yeah, back to, I'm glad Joe Hunter, the other Joe in chat. Yeah, I would do, so here's my plan real quick. For the Phillies infield, just real quick, because I do want to get into the Eagles, and we got that to talk about. See, when I wanna like, I don't want to talk about the Eagles tonight, chat. So I'm doing what I do is just like I talk anything but them. But you guys are indulging, so it helps. But my infield next year would probably be Bohm first base. I'm going to have to live with Kingery for another year at second. Segura at short. I want to get younger. I like Didi. But here's the thing. I'm not going to give Didi a multi-year contract based off of what I saw for 60 games. Not a full game. And he's a year older next year. However, I won't be mad if they bring him back on another 1-year deal. But just right now, this is first draft. This is a rough draft copy of how I see the offense. Bohm, Kingery, Segura at short, and I want a power. I want a rock at third base. I want a guy that's going to come in here and just rake. And if he's not there at third base, I want him there at first base, and I'll live with Bohm at third. But I like Bohm at first, and I would just love to get a power third baseman. That's just rough draft. If you could get that third baseman in through a Rhys Hoskins trade, or something, maybe you trade Segura, then you bring back Didi. There's options. But yes, Carson is making me so mad right now. Yezer yeet. Let's indulge. Let's talk about the Birds. Let's talk Eagles. I agree. Come back next week, everyone. We'll talk more baseball. We'll talk about it throughout the whole offseason. But I want to keep it to an hour. There's a South Park special on tonight. There's all kinds of sports. There's basketball on at 9. I want to give it a hard 8:30 cutoff. So let's talk 15, 20 minutes of Eagles. Do I like Harper? Absolutely. And I hated him when he was a National, and the second he signed, he won me over, just like all of Philadelphia like that. But it wasn't just the media stuff. It's his play, and it's his things, like when he goes out as a leader of the team, when he goes out and says the things that he says about JT Realmuto better be the starting catcher next year. Bleep, yeah, he better be. I'm all on board. I'm all on board for my star athlete to be sending a message directly to the top. Just like I started off this show or this rant with that big, my face must have got red. Harper did it so much more than I ever could with that. Kick the field goal. So I'm glad you brought it up. Because here's the thing. I don't kick the field goal at the end of the game there. Absolutely not. I love Jake Elliott. Maybe there's like a 3% chance he makes it. I'm not kicking a field goal. But guess what? I'm also not punting. And I'm certainly kicking a field goal before I punt. But I don't know, chat. Isn't Doug Peterson supposed to be this offensive guru? You have 19 seconds. It's what? 4th and 7? Was it 4th, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? It's like 4th and 12, I think. 4th and 13 maybe after the penalty. Or was it 4th and 7 after the penalty? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. There's, 19 seconds left or so. That's when Jalen Hurts is on the field. That's when you get 2 quarterbacks out on the field, or you get Greg Ward out on the field, and you create some misdirection. You do a lateral. You burn off some clock, so that if the play doesn't succeed, there's about 9 seconds, and the Bengals have 1 play to go to the end zone, and they're not going to win. And if they do, I salute. But you still play for a win. You still call. Did you guys watch that Chiefs game on Monday night? Did you watch that Chiefs game? Did you see the shovel pass, the movement? I'm watching offensive plays and I'm like, this is what the Eagles did in 2017. The Philly special. All of these things. Where are any of these trick plays? We haven't seen a wrinkle in this offense since the Philly special reprise against the Falcons in the game directly after the Super Bowl. We haven't seen any offensive creativity out of Doug Peterson. This is top to bottom. Howie Roseman's to blame. Doug Peterson's to blame. Carson, I'm a huge fan. Carson's to blame. You can't miss that Miles Sanders throw. You can't throw that Zach Ertz interception. Even if it wasn't deflected, it was a bad decision, and it still was going to get interception. Still was going to get intercepted. Excuse me. So, I mean, Peterson has totally lost his mojo. It's actually to the point where I'm thinking you gotta fire Roseman and Peterson and keep Wentz. And I never thought, I thought, and it probably will still work out this way, that Wentz is the first of the three to go. But honestly, if you don't make the playoffs this year, which you're not, Howie Roseman needs to get fired. Howie Roseman needs to get fired if the Eagles don't make it to the playoffs this year. Just absolutely has to. Just the lack of drafting throughout the years. It's just been horrendous. And this team is just, they're hurt top to bottom. This training staff is, look, I know every year since I've started this, down to the Chip Kelly year, Andy Reid was the coach when I first got here. And anytime a player got injured, it was training staff. Training staff they're all pussies, or whatever you wanted to call them. But for once, I'm looking at it and I'm like, it is the training staff. It's the coaching staff. It's the training staff. It's the fact that they wanted week one. We're doing load management with Deshaun Jackson, who you know is going to be hurt in week 2 anyway. Breaking news, he did. I love your Bob Marley painting. Thank you. That was a Christmas gift a long time ago. Yeah, and I actually got the sports one It's off camera, unfortunately, but there's the Harry. There's the HK. But I mean, this Jason Peters. Oh, you don't want to practice today? That's okay. Oh, Fletcher Cox. You don't want to practice today? That's okay. Oh, Miles Sanders, you don't want to play in the fourth quarter? That's okay. Come on, man. You're not a good team. This is Brett Brown sitting the entire Sixers in Game 7 of the bubble. You're not a good team. You don't get to do that. Load management was for Kawhi Leonard when the Raptors were a good team and could afford to do that. Load management was for these big men, Tim Duncan, when the Spurs were good and they could afford to lose a game. Load management was not for the goddamn Philadelphia Eagles to baby Deshaun Jackson in week 1. You friggin' idiots. This isn't a sports science thing. This isn't an analytics thing. This is the fact that you're just taking information and using it wrong. This is a lack of smarts. This is a lack of game sense. And the fact that you keep bringing Vinny Curry. Oh, he's on the injury reserve again. Why are you... Stop being Ruben Amaro Jr. A championship ring doesn't mean the player has to stay in this city forever. It's not a wedding ring. It's a 1-year commitment. It's a 1-year celebration. When you give a player a championship ring, you're not saying, hey, you're welcome to stay on my team and steal money from me forever. Deshaun Jackson, they should have cut this offseason when all the controversy went down. I said it that they could have made themselves look really good, and instead they kept a shitty player. It's the worst wide receivers. It's worse than those guys. I think I would die for Pigston and Trash right now. Fred X. My boy Fred X. 4th and 26. This is top to bottom. And Carson, look, I know I've gone a million different directions, but Carson's got to play better. It's too long. And speaking of McNabb, yo, oh man, when he threw that interception and started smiling, yo, I got nightmare chills. I got night sweats in the middle of the day when I saw him do that smile. Oh boy, that was scary. That was scary. But you know, you see him, he's slamming his helmet. He's in his head, and I think it was Joe Hunter. I think you said it that he needs a shrink. Look, sports psychologists are very much a thing. They're super utilized in the world of esports. Get him a sports psychologist. Something's up. But the whole thing that Frank Reich, it's Frank Reich's got to be here. Well, that's on. Then for Doug, that means he's not doing a good enough job. And this whole notion of like, well, we should strip Doug Peterson of play calls. For what are you gonna have Morningweg call him? Another guy that has no right being anywhere near this team, Marty Morningweg. We brought him back instead of an offensive coordinator. I'm sorry, but I'm highly convinced Doug Peterson wakes up in the morning, farts in a wine glass, and smells it. And enjoys it. These guys have their heads are shoved up their own asses. And hey, if I went to work and there was a statue of me right there in the front, I would too. I would too. That statue has to get out of that stadium. Put it next to the Rocky statue. Get it out of the stadium. The Philly Special Stadium statue has to be out of the stadium. Frank Reich. I mean, look, the Frank Reich thing, like, you weren't going to win a Super Bowl, fire your head coach, and make your offensive coordinator the head coach, right? So your head coach that was supposed to be a genius and won you the Super Bowl needs to continue to do his job, and he hasn't. And if Frank Reich was the reason why they won the Super Bowl, then Doug Peterson needs to be fired. Now, I'm not there yet. Again, for me, Howie Roseman, he's on the chop block. For years and years and years of failed drafts, including this year. 2 recent picks for me that I called right off the bat draft day. One good, one bad, both different sports. The good, Matisse Thybulle. The second he was drafted, came on here, talked about how much of a good pick he was going to be. Same thing, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, came on here, talked about how I looked at not all, but I looked at a lot of his tape from college, and I was like, he's just making catches because he's bigger than smaller players. He showed me nothing. Usually in college, you can like find some big. He was nothing. I knew right off the bat that J.J. Arcega-Whiteside was a bust, and the fact that he is constantly faking injuries to not play, cut him. Cut him. Foles with the comeback. Yeah, but... And here's one thing, too, while Nick Foles' name is brought up. I keep hearing this a lot. Nick Foles is in the game. He hits that, that throw to Miles Sanders. You're right. But are we not forgetting that Nick Foles would probably miss? Like he makes negative plays too. Does Nick Foles run for all those yards that Wentz does? You know, like Wentz had obviously that drive at the end of the game was really good, really clutch, brought them into overtime. But then in overtime wasn't. Ward only decent slot receiver, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Rager's hurt. Maybe you see some out of Quez Watkins this week. Hightower is out there a lot, but he's not getting open. This is what happens when you draft 6 rookie wide receivers in one draft. You can't just draft a bunch of wide receivers and expect them to just, now we got a wide receiving core. Plug and play. Like, yo, they're rookies. You knew during the draft that this was going to be a COVID off season. You knew that. You can't use that as an excuse. Hey, Howie. Marquise Goodwin, yeah, he checked out, but even if he didn't, he was probably going to get hurt just as much as Deshaun. Hey, Howie. What the hell were you doing here? So, it's tough, guys. It is a tough one. Joe, I think I saw Joe saying that they're going to beat the 49ers. Carson, 340, 3 TDs in a rush. I mean, that's something that I do think that this team will get a win out of the next 2 games. Probably against the Steelers. But, hey, man, I hope you're right. Like, I'm not rooting against the Eagles. I want them to win out. I want Howie Roseman to be a Hall of Fame general manager. I want Doug Peterson to be a Hall of Fame coach. I want Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts to somehow both be Hall of Fame players for the Eagles. Like, if you wear or work for the Eagles, I'm gonna, I want you to do well regardless of the things that come out of my mouth. Miles Sanders. These dumb young kids make me bang my head into my microphone. How do I reach these kids? Stop talking shit on your fans. Do you play video games? Oh, yeah. I play video games. Mostly PC. I got the Switch, too. I try to stream some video games here and there, but my computer's... it's not the greatest for streaming. Streaming games, that is. But yeah, I mean, these kids, man, gotta stop talking shit on your fan base. Because Miles Sanders, like, no one had you on the radar. Then you say something stupid, and now I go, oh yeah, you got time to run your Twitter hands, but you're too tired to be out there in the 4th quarter? And that's why Doug Peterson's saying we can't run the ball? Like, come on. Come on, guys. What do I play? Just real quick, because I'm trying to keep it tight. Like, first-person shooters, Counter-Strike, Valorant, Overwatch, things like that. Rocket League, though. A little bit of everything. Super Mega Baseball 3. NBA 2K. A little bit of everything. Boston Scott looks like... Well, look... More than Boston Scott, Corey Clement looks like he shouldn't be in the NFL. Which is something else that we knew. We knew that. And we also had an inkling that Boston Scott wasn't a secondary back. Fortnite? Nah, I haven't played Fortnite since... I stopped playing Fortnite when the shopping cart. As literally that update, or the jetpack, one or the other. Whichever one came first, that was when I was out. And I haven't played the GTA either. But yeah, I mean, Boston Scott... Boston Scott, we knew Boston Scott was a third down, like a third back. We knew Boston Scott was a third back. Corey Clement hasn't produced since the Super Bowl. But hey, he's got a ring, so we keep him forever. Just like Vinny Curry. Just like Nate Gary. It's insane. It's insane. So that's where it's at. We're up on an hour though, so running behind, no line. Yeah. So, chat, it's been an adventurous show. It has been a very adventurous show. Some new follows. The sub was awesome. Sloopra. My mini men from Sloopra. My mini men from New York are horrendously worst team in the NFC East. What's trying to read that name? I am the one. LMN. I am the one. What's up? There's some new faces in chat today. I'm loving it. Giants fans are welcome here. We might poop on your opinions, but you're welcome here. Gonna be on tomorrow. No, so we do once a week, especially on Twitch. Every Wednesday night. Now this is our normal time slot, 7:30 to 8:30. But also, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/warroomphilly. And sometimes we'll do pregame or I've been doing halftime hits, and I do them purely. Yes or yeet. Yes, I will say your name all of the times. Yes or yeet. But yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. I like to do halftime hits because it makes my halftime fly by. And it's just like, boom, I come in, I hang out with my peeps, and then it's the game again, and there's no lull for me, so it really makes it fun. So definitely check in on Facebook, facebook.com/warroomphilly. And all you got to do, if you want to know, if you want me, like, yeet, if you want me to know, like, you say your name is John Smith, all you got to do is type in yes or yeet, and I'll like, it'll be the reverse. Like, you'll see a lot of people will, like, I'll call them by name through their Twitch handle, and it's just because we know the community so well here that if I know my people from Facebook, I'll just call them by their first name because we're family here. Don't have Facebook? Well, you are mighty lucky. I would delete mine every day if I could, but I love facebook.com/warroomphilly. But yeah. Like I said, hang out here with us then. We'll always do the main show here, and yeah. And if you want, see, I can't call you Cole though because you have too good of a name. Unless you really want to go by Cole, because my man Cole Hamels, I'll remember it. But I gotta go. I like yes or yeet way too much. But guys, it's been an awesome show. I love the new faces in here today. It's been a lot of fun. It's been fun in the sense that I didn't realize when I started this show I was going to have a therapy session. And I hope that it was much the same to you guys, where we just got in here and we just, like, kind of kicked our feet up on the couch and just vented our problems to our therapist. And I guess our therapist is the sports gods, or is me? Am I the therapist, or you guys are my therapists? Is it like a mutual thing? But yeah, we not despite the title, we are the good things of Philadelphia. All of the fans and the people, and it's been a hell of a show. It's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, one last time, facebook.com/warroomphilly, Instagram, Twitter, everything. Just get it in. My predictions for the NBA Finals: Heat in 7, Jimmy buckets. Go get them blood. I think we're good. See, that's the best part about this. We get it skyrocketed, but then by the end, I feel really good. And I feel like we've all grown as a community. We've all learned a little bit from one another. And look, I've been a Jimmy Butler fan for his entire career, Getting him on the Sixers was a dream. Letting him leave was a nightmare. I'm rooting for Butler. And it's not out of disrespect for LeBron, as most of the times it is. I've dropped most of my LeBron hate as I get older. But man, I've actually dropped my Heat hate because of Jimmy Butler. I've always hated the Heat. I hate Miami sports. They don't deserve it. But I'm all about it. And not only am I rooting, I really do. I just believe that, look, if there's two people in today's NBA that bring the Mamba mentality and that the bubble mentality really played into their competitive, it's LeBron, it's Jimmy Butler, and it's tonight. So it's going to be really exciting to watch. I hope you guys all enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy South Park. Enjoy all the sports. All day baseball today. That was awesome. A historic day for playoff baseball. So, hey, there's no Philly sports right now, but there is some awesome playoff baseball. We got some finals, and, you know, we'll just continue to watch some good football games otherwise. Go Butler. Shove it up the Sixers. Yeah, I agree. At this point, we all knew. Look, all of us as fans knew, right? So we shouldn't be kicking ourselves. We should be kicking front offices. That's my final thought, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. With that, I am Anthony Pinto. You were Chat, and we are out of here. Yes, I will add you. Yes, sir.